Well, this is a real pleasure to have Jack Edwards with us. You know him as the play-by-play voice of the Bruins on NESN. And first of all, from Game 1 to Game 2, did anything change in your mind?
I think St. Louis is going to come out pretty belligerent in Game 2 because they play their best when they finish every check hard. And that's what got them through San Jose. And by through, I mean, like they knocked out Erik Karlsson, they knocked out Joe Pavelski, they knocked out Thomas Hertl. And I think they're going to take aim at some key players on the Bruins.
So let's talk about that from both sides. How do you do that intelligently if you're St. Louis without ending up in the box too much? And conversely, how do you combat that if you're the Bruins, knowing that they're probably going to come at you physically?
Well, the Bruins have managed to win in a number of different ways, but they're just going to play their game. And teams that have decided to get physical against the Bruins, notably Columbus, have ended up paying the price. And it may open things up a little bit, but the Bruins have enough skill to play with skilled teams. They have enough quickness to play with anybody in the league, and they certainly have enough muscle to take on any team that wants to bring the physical game. I think that's been the real benefit of having had to go such long stretches without so many key players during the regular season. The Bruins are adaptable. They not only can make game-to-game changes in tactics, but they can make in-game changes in tactics, and that's been much to their benefit.
And I'd view that approach for the Bruins might be this, like, let's not retaliate. If these guys are going to come after us, let's let them sit in the box, because we don't need both of us to be sitting in the box.
Tom, no better example than Torrey Krug keeping his head on straight after David Perron was using him as a jungle gym. I mean, you know, the guy rips Krug's helmet off, and yeah, Krug looked for him first, but Perron typically didn't want any part of that, skated right off. Oh, it's time to change out. And Krug was jumping up on the rush, and he just plastered Robert Thomas. And you know, that's keeping your composure, living in the moment and staying focused.
Tip of the cap, I think, at this stage of the game, and we'll talk about it more as the series progresses, but what Don Sweeney and the management team has been able to do in terms of building that depth, I mean, they deserve a ton of credit because that has been the difference throughout these playoffs, and we saw it again in Game 1. Phenomenal.
I mean, it's our job to speculate a little bit because it's sports. It's not, you know, it's not life and death most of the time, and we can sort of go around the edges of true journalism and say what if and they should have and all that stuff. But Sweeney is so good at having a plan, sticking to the plan, thinking through the plan, and the acquisition of Coyle, the acquisition of Johansson, the defensive depth that he has built through Providence with the help of John Ferguson and Jay Leach down there. I mean, 37 different skaters during the regular season, and this team's in the Stanley Cup final. That sounds like a rebuild gong show, but here they are.
All right, so you're not calling the games, but you're certainly surrounding the games. Where can people get your analysis before and after Game 2?
Well, if they listen loudly enough during the game, they can still hear me right through the walls at TD Garden. But, yeah, we'll be on at 7 on NESN Plus and on NESN unless the Red Sox go really late for an hour after the game.
Good stuff. Great talking to you as always. Jack Edwards, the play-by-play voice of the Boston Bruins for NESN.